viewers, you are watching the Youth Dialogue and I am your host, Jenna Basonko. Well, today we are having a political talk. It is necessary considering everything that is happening in the Gambia presently. Young people have a role to play when it comes to politics in the Gambia, and these are two young people that I invited months and months ago when Youth Dialogue just started, and we had a very fruitful discussion. I can remember elections was fast approaching, the mayoral elections, and I invited them and we had a fruitful discussion which had great impact. So this is just a follow-up show on politics in the Gambia presently, and we have Fatou Jawo as well as Baboucarr Nyang, who are both youth activists. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers, from that short break. Like I mentioned today, I have with me Fatou and Baboucarr. Welcome to the show. And I did mention that we will be discussing general issues. Like I mentioned in the beginning, these people, I started the program with them. So I think it's a little bit emotional having you guys today here with me. Okay, I'm just kidding. Welcome to the show. Yes, Fatou.
Thank you, Jenaba. It's a pleasure to come back, like you said.
Yeah.
You are part of the first, I think the second people to actually join you on the program from inception, and thank you.
Okay, I believe we are going to have a fruitful one. Baboucarr.
Thank you very much, Jenaba. We're happy to be back again in the Youth Dialogue.
Okay, so my first question should be, when you first came to the Youth Dialogue, that was the fact that you were the second people to come, second set to come to my show, and we talked about civic leadership, and the list goes on that particular show. What has changed? What has improved from then to now?
Actually, if I can fully remember, we were talking about civic education, civic awareness, and so to my knowledge, I think a lot of issues has changed because of this exposure and the program to contribute. Things like now, it appears that everybody understands their civic rights and responsibilities, not like before, because when we were coming, we were discussing a lot of issues like how people take politics and how people see their rights and responsibilities, but now I think everybody is kind of on the same level, if not the same, but things have changed when it comes to civic education, especially among young people.
Okay, so what has changed, what has improved, if there is any?
Yeah, there are a lot of things. We can talk about the youth participation, because when we came here the last time, we were talking about youth participation and engagement in political parties, and also to take part in all governance and political processes. Thank God, we have seen so many young people who are youth councillors, so many young people who have took part in those past elections, not only as observers but as contestants as well in those past elections, and it was due to the fact that young people went out to their fellow youth to talk to them about how important it was to participate. And of course, it was also in the dialogue when we talked about youth participation, what there was the requirement for them to take, and also for them to participate in nation building as well.
Okay, I know the Not Too Young to Lead campaign is fully yet to materialize in the Gambia, but I think that at least there has been progress, because if you take a look at the CRC, for instance, if you take a look at the TRRC, and just before we started the program, we talked about the victim center. You were just telling me that a lot of people are extremely young who work there. So I guess there's progress, although there's room for improvement. So now let's talk about the real deal. I mean, the real issues that are happening presently in the Gambia, because everything that happens, young people are in the forefront presently. Like you said, there is a lot of improvement in relation to the participation for young people. So everybody's talking about 3 years jotna in the Gambia, the fact that the president has to step down at 3 years, or he should continue 5 years. So what is your take on that? I know you have a little bit of legal background, so on the legal aspect, you'll be able to help us as well. So if I should ask you, what is your take on this, the 3 years and the 5 years?
Thank you so much, Jenaba. It's such an interesting topic. Others would say it's a mere distraction, but I think anything that is capable of national distraction or distracting us as citizens, it's important that we discuss it. So in my opinion, as you rightly mentioned, lawyer, so if you look at the 3 years issue, the constitution actually is clear as to the mandate of the president. because the president was elected for a period of 5 years.
Exactly.
Now, the 3 years came as a result of his promise, that is the campaign promises, which has a moral point of view and it's not legal. So according to my own understanding and perception of the issue of the 3 years Jotna, I would say they are within their legal rights to express themselves and to hold a president accountable for his campaign promises. Because if a president comes and say, if you vote for me, I am going to step down after 3 years just for transition, and you voted based on that, and the person didn't want to honor that promise, you have every right as a citizen to tell Mr. President, you know what, you told us this and now you are not doing it. We want you to honor your promise. That's a moral point of view. But looking at the legal aspect, what they cannot do is, they cannot force the president to come down after the 3 years or to step down, because the Constitution is the highest law of the land. So any law that is not inconsistent with the Constitution obviously is of no effect. And the campaign promise, it's just a mere document that you cannot enforce against the Constitution. So my opinion is that the Constitution says 5 years. So what they can do, let them protest, but it's left to the president to actually morally honor that promise, but you cannot force him to step down after the 3 years, because that will be against the Constitution, and any attempt to throw away or disregard any provision of the Constitution, it can be treasonable. Okay. So that is illegal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say in relation to the fact, because I see this particular interview making rounds on social media, where the president says when it is campaign time you can say anything, because the journalist was asking him about the 2 years and the 5 years. So what is your take on that? Because he did mention clearly that when it comes to your campaign, you can say anything. It's just a campaign. So what is your take on that?
I watched that interview, the portion that he said that, and to be honest with you, I don't think as a politician, somebody who, you know, if you are a president, you are not like any ordinary person. I, as a private citizen, can say something and change my mind, it wouldn't be a big deal. But as a president, you have a whole country looking up to you. So if you want people to vote for you, it's based on something. People just don't vote. So it's based on what you promise them. That's what people vote for you. So to say that if you're campaigning, you can just say whatever you want to say just because you are campaigning, obviously, I don't agree with that, because it's a moral obligation on you to honor your promises. And we need, you know, it's high time, we need honest politicians that can just tell us what they can do, not because they want us, but they can do it. That's what my take is. Yeah.
On that, yes, we will get back to that. So, I mean, 3 years, 5 years, what is it about for you? How do you see it?
I think I'll disappoint you, Jenna, but thank you very much. Anyway, my own opinion is that this 3 years and the 5 years Jotna thing is just a distraction, and that's my opinion. Why I said it's just a distraction is simply because we have so much pertinent issues in this country for us to discuss about. One, we have youth unemployment. We have farmers who can't have access to the markets to sell their produce. We have people dying in hospitals. We have education, higher education being so unaffordable for the poor people. We have women who doesn't have anything to do except to sell their produces, which they don't have people to buy it from them after it has been produced. So to me, the 5 and the 3 years thing is a politically motivated thing to distract the people.
Okay.
I will agree definitely with my colleague on the legal morality thing that she excellently deliberated on, which is very right.
Yeah.
However, I have a different opinion. My opinion is a complete distraction. Jennifer, every day on Facebook, you see a photo soliciting for support of a child to be taken for a treatment. Healthcare. So we have a very, very, very serious issue in terms of a healthcare system. But every day at the university, some students will tell you we could not register for the courses because we could not afford the high tuition fee at that university. But every day we see young people involving themselves into things that are not happily for our society because they are unemployed or underemployed. We have seen instances where people go out for unemployment to earn only $2,000 per month. These are issues that we should debate on. These are issues that we should definitely talk about, and not the 3 years, not the 5 years thing. Because these things, at the end of the day, with 3 years, to be honest, would have been the transitional period of this government to ensure that institutions are properly put in place, to ensure that people whom you know that they are supposed to take responsibilities in terms of governance, in terms of leadership, are taking it with standards, with dignity, with ethical. And all those things that we needed have not been there to get the Gambia we want moving. So we have a problem. The problem that we have is they're using the 3 years, the 5 years to distract us from the real issues.
That are happening.
The real issues that are happening, which we as citizens should stand up and say no to these politicians who are taking us, dragging us to things that we don't want as citizens.
So what are you telling me now? Are you in for the 5 years, or are you in for the 3 years? Or everybody should just cut it short and say 5 years and go for elections in 2021? What are you telling me? No. What do you agree with as a citizen?
Yeah, my agreement is I voted for the constitution that says for 5 years. But like what Fatu says, you have moral obligations. It's not me who decides. It's the Gambian people that decides. They're the one who went to the polls and decided. So I can't use my own, wish to impose or to tell the Gambian people.
I mean, you're not imposing, but as a sound-minded person, you can weigh the two. Because this is about being rational. Putting 5 years here, putting 3 years here, and weighing the consequences of both. Have you done that?
I will take the 3 years if that's the case.
Okay,
I'll take 3 years.
Okay, so
because you're talking about my own opinion.
I'm talking about your own opinion.
I will take the 3 years because the 3 years was for transitional government.
Okay.
That transitional government was to ensure we have strong institutions, was to ensure we have strong people, was to ensure we have strong leadership that is going to shape the way for people to move ahead. But mind you, we're talking about also legality, which has to do with people who voted for 5 years.
Okay.
So, personally, I will take the 3 years based on what I wanted the Gambia to be.
And that is not happening. You have not seen that as a person.
I have not seen that. But notwithstanding, I'm still going back to my point that the 3 years, the 5 years, the number is just a way of distracting us. Okay. That's all. We have seen the problem, it is visible there, and this is the problem that we need to address. And not 3 years, 5 years. If President Barrow wants, okay, he can go to the 5 years. Nobody would go out and say, okay, we are going to get the president out there. No, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because like what Fatu says, this is a legally elected president who is put there by the people, and the constitution is the supreme law of the land, which no one should violate by bringing him down. So we cannot do that. But like just to sort it
it's a legal and moral
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So but to sort it what I'm telling you is that this 3 years thing,
is a
in my opinion, is a distraction to get the work done.
Okay. So now I asked her the same question concerning when Barrow, in an interview, President Adama Barrow said that when you're campaigning, it's okay. I mean, you can just say anything. So what is your take on that? What impact do you think that particular statement can have for our future generation, especially the ones that are supposed to be politicians?
I'll tell that the youth needs to be very, very, very much concerned, and also look at these type of things that politicians comes and give them. Like the syndrome of wah-wahed should be history in this country. But we need to ensure that we hold people who are elected in office accountable. And we can only do that during the process of their manifestos and what they give out. Because if the president tells me that in campaign you can say anything, that's one of the highest disregard to the people that puts you in office. And those are the people that puts you in that office. So one of the highest disregard to those people is you just come back to them and say, okay, because if you're campaigning, you can say any sort of thing. What sort of things can you tell them? Things that people will not believe, things that will jeopardize their lives. These are not the things that we want. And these are not the things that those people that voted for you wanted. So therefore, that one is a complete disregard to the people that put you in that position.
Okay, so let's have a little debate here. I hope it is a debate. I want you guys to well, it's your choice. Let's talk about permit, the issue of permit when it comes to the Gambian constitution. If we should have that in the constitution that you need a permit to protest, or you can just go out of the street and protest. What is your take on that? Do you need a permit? Do you think an individual or a group of person need permit to do any kind of demonstration or protests?
If I get you right, do you really mean currently?
I mean in the future.
In the future?
Yes,
okay.
Because the constitution is still not out, the new one.
Okay, the new one.
Yes.
Okay.
So what is your take?
Okay, as we speak, the constitution just gives a provision, if I don't forget, it's section 25, which says you have a right to assemble and protest peacefully, you know, as a right. But the same constitution under subsection D, if I'm right, is saying the exercise of that right to freedom of association and peaceful protest is subject to public order, public morality, and national security or interest. So what this is saying, that same constitution giving you the right to protest peacefully, is taking that right. In law, you say that is clawback clauses. They take it in one hand and limit it on another hand. That is why we have the Public Order Act. The act is trying to enforce that section, subsection D, saying it has to be subject to public order, morality, and national interest. So, but going back to your question, I don't have an issue of having a Public Order Act, but my opinion is if we have a new constitution, that will obviously have to put certain limits, but now let us concentrate on the Public Order Act. If the new constitution comes into effect and says that you don't need a permit, then obviously, automatically, the Public Order Act is invalidated. But now, what I am saying as an opinion is that we cannot also allow people to just go into the streets like that. We are human beings. You can have a mind or an intention to peacefully do something, but it will turn out in another way. So we cannot take chances. That's what I'm saying. We need regulation. Society, human beings need to be regulated by nature. So my opinion is we can have a constitution, probably the Public Order Act, to be amended to say if you want to peacefully protest, you don't need a permit from the police, but you need to alert them for security, because you need to be secured. Let them remove the permit and replace it with an alert, or you need to notify them, so that they
seek protection.
Seek protection. Thank you. The issue of the permit, they can remove it, and as far as it's peaceful, if you have the security present to secure you, if somebody wants to do anything that is illegal, come on, they can arrest you and then you face the law.
So what if it gets out of hand? Because like you said, human beings need to be regulated.
Yeah, so, but the permit...
And don't you think if that is there, anybody can just go out and protest? We can have protests every single day. What do you think?
But that is one aspect, but also the way things are going, it's like people are trying to force things, and force doesn't have any solution to any problem. So before now saying the permit probably needs to be given before a protest is done, ordinarily, I don't have a problem with it, because to me, that's what I say. You need to be a responsible citizen before you can hold your government or institution to account. Because you can't recklessly go to the streets and you don't want to be subject to rules and regulations, you know. So the issue of the permit, I don't have a problem with it. But if they want to change it, let it be. You need to notify the police, who will assess the ground, and if there is any, you know, sometimes they can even give it to the courts to decide whether you can go on or not.
Babukar, what is your take on that?
I think the permit issue, we're just trying to, you know, draw it out of proportion to make the thing, people feel that, you know, when you talk about protest, it's a big thing. To me, my own opinion is like, I think we need to change this name from protest to freedom of assembly, where people can come and show their dissatisfaction on an issue, but also with the confinement of the law, because people cannot be outlawed. You cannot go and, you know, say you want to protest and we end up seeing destructions in those things. We don't want you to say, okay, you want to have a freedom of assembly on an issue and still you want to, you know, be the person who other bad elements will come and join in those things, and we also see destruction. We don't want that as a society. What we want, responsible citizens who will stand to defend their rights, talk about issues that affects their lives, and also will not do any distraction. again, we also need to know that this requesting for permit thing has to be also handled with care by the police. Because sometimes denial of permit is even more dangerous or even worse than even issuing it to the people. We have seen instances where people intended to go out and protest. It ended up being nothing. And those people initially went out to request for a permit. After several denials, engagement and others, they end up doing their protest and nothing come out of it. It was all peaceful. So also the police and the people that are also dealing with these permits also should now start thinking of these things that they have in their head about the misconception of this freedom of assembly that people want. I think they also need to be educated on that issue, right?
Okay, all right. So, Fatu, do you want to say something before we move ahead?
I just want to tell him that, you know, you cannot force certain things. Regulations are, you know, they are regulations. We have to regulate people's behaviors. Like I was saying, you have a country and a security to you know, to look at. We have the economic impacts of this protest and everything. So my opinion is you cannot also go to the streets on every single thing. You know, sometimes you have dialogue. It's the best thing that can solve situations. Janaba, if you have a problem that is affecting you and I can solve your problem, I was not listening, but if I give you the dialogue room, I think before you go to the streets and talk about issues that I might not even hear, why not engage me? We deal with the situation. I want to believe issue of protest should be last resort, where you don't have any form of opportunity or any redress to your rights. But if you have an opportunity to dialogue, utilize it.
Jeremy, I think the Constitution is the holy book of the people in any land. And it is only the Constitution that can be our savior to that almighty government.
Okay.
So therefore then whatever we have in that book should be what the people's want. This has to do with rules and regulations that govern people's activities and the government itself.
Okay.
So if we talked about protests here, assembly there, and blah 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 here,
every week,
and every week, and that to me, honestly, as I said earlier, if you it's people's right to even go out and protest over granite that is not available in the market.
It's people's right.
That is
but
people's
where
right.
your right stops, that's where somebody's right starts.
Then now you have an intermediary between them and the rights now.
That's why you need the permit.
Okay. Now, fine, you can go get permit. To me, I have no problem, and I think anybody who wants to do any peaceful assembly, you need to go and get permit from the police.
But what she's saying is
that's right.
What she is saying is dialogue before protest.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes. But like, you know, listen, let me tell you, in advocacy you have this. You have people with high power and low interest. The people with high power is nobody but the government. The people with low power but high interest is the people. So that if somebody, for example, with high power is telling you, come and we dialogue, what do you expect? It's just going to...
Okay, so you are saying that today, if Barrow should invite 3 years Jotna for dialogue, you're saying that the dialogue will not.
Well, that is left to the 3 years Jotna people, because I'm not a member of 3 years Jotna.
I'm not saying you are a member, but listening to your assessment of what dialogue can be between the government and the people, that is what you're explaining to me.
But my expectation, you voted somebody to secure your rights, and they are not secured. What can you do without dialogue with that person?
No, but
if you cannot dialogue, how will protesting send a message? What is the essence of protest? Is it not to show your dissatisfaction? So what is the essence of dialogue? Is it not to sit on the table, show your dissatisfaction and negotiate? Where the protest will not give you negotiation and it will not give you a win-win situation, dialogue can achieve that. Okay. So that is my point.
Now,
what can protest achieve then? She is talking about the fact that what dialogue can achieve, protest cannot. So what do you have to say in relation to that?
You know, these are the things that I'm just trying to tell you, understand. That today, for example, people can be making so much noise, talking, alerting, giving out calls, calling, and, you know, we all know that right now there is a problem of road networks. We all know that from Banjul to Birkama, it takes you over 2 hours to go to Birkama. Just give you an example. So now, in that from Banjul to Birkama, it takes you 2 hours to go. Now, authorities are going there, seeing it every day for themselves that there is a problem on this road. Honestly, if there was a day that all the drivers says that we are stopping and parking these cars and nobody will go. So you see now where it goes. So this is why I was telling you, you have those with high power, low interest, and those with high interest but low power.
Okay, but Fatu is saying before those drivers
do that,
are you telling me the authorities are not seeing that, Jenaba?
They are seeing it,
so what are they doing? So you're waiting for me to tell you do it?
Yes, what is wrong with that?
No, you are saying it, I'm the one going for. You have privileges, for example. The number one privilege of things that you have is when you're going, you're escorted by a police escort, for instance. That will not make you very uncomfortable of knowing the problems of the people, for instance. You're paved a way where you go straight, nobody tells you stop, go or wait. Nobody tells you that. You have that privilege. The poor person who doesn't have that will have to wait for 2 hours to go do that. So, and the other people whom you know that they're visibly like in the same category with people who are even responsible, for example, are going through those roads. And they're seeing it for themselves, they cannot do it. I'm not ruling out that dialogue is not important. It is very fundamentally important. But also, people can choose not to go in for dialogue.
But then
Fatu, it's very clear. People can choose not to go in for dialogue.
But Fatu, don't you think that frequent protests can cause instability in a country?
That's what I'm saying. If where you can dialogue and solve a problem, why will you have to assemble and say a lot of things?
But these are rights of people, Fatima.
I'm not saying it's not rights of people. Your rights should be exercised responsibly. These rights are not in vacuum. They're in the Constitution. You have a right, but you have a responsibility as a citizen. If you know that exercising your right to protest will put this country in fire, why will you utilize dialogue?
Give me an example where it happens.
Let me give you an example. This protest, Serekunda protest.
That was not a protest. They've never requested for permit.
Let me come. They wanted to protest against the death of somebody who was allegedly killed by the anti-crime unit. You understand? They did not request for a permit, or whether they do, but they came out to show their anger. What was their mindset then? It's just to come and show their anger. But we see vandalism which happened. And we see people, come on, I was going home, and our vehicle have to dive because they were throwing stones.
You're giving the right words now, and that is vandalism, riots, and other things.
Yes, allow each other here.
No, he has to listen. I was listening to you.
Yes, so
now,
allow
what is the provocation behind that vandalism and burning down of tires, blocking traffic? If you choose dialogue, then you wouldn't have that. And then that is the reason why I said it could have set the country into fire. Because now they are saying the police also came with force. If the police also do the same thing, it results to casualties, and we are in trouble. You have people
who that example that Fatu gave here was definitely a mob, a riot, a vandalism that involved people. That involved people. Let me give you an example of two complete ones that happened. That it was so noisy in the country, but at the end of the day, all of them took place peacefully, and no one of them had its problem.
You don't take chances.
No, but listen, you have listen. It's not about taking chances; it's about taking responsibilities. And in that taking responsibility, each and every person needs to do his or her work right. That is it. The Occupy Westfield, that people thought that it was going to do anything for this country. How did it end up? Nothing. People went. So thereafter, the Dafadoy one, nobody ever thought it was going to. But it ended up in peace. People went back to their houses. So what Fatu is telling is a riot, which every good citizen should say no to. We are not going to allow small elements or people whom you know that they have no disarray, they have very little or interest in our country to destabilize our country. We don't want that.
But according to Fatu,
we don't want that.
I am going to engage you.
We don't want that.
Now, imagine that riot that you're saying.
You are now saying riot. Listen.
No, wait.
I think we need to understand. No, we need to understand now.
Yes.
If you're talking about riot,
but according to her,
it started as a protest. You just don't come and have a riot.
Do you have
that.
the evidence that they requested a police permit? These people are people that you done early morning and started on the ground.
Okay, let's just allow each other. Let's just allow each other. So
let me tell you, whether it's a riot, it's a protest, let's talk about assembly. That is the right to assembly.
This is what I'm
saying. Now, whether we categorize it or not,
the right
to assembly can be violent, it can be peaceful.
Yeah.
But peaceful right to assembly.
Now, what I'm talking about is if
yeah.
these people who went to protest against the anti-crime decided to go to the anti-crime and engage them before going on the streets, do you think what happened will happen? It will not happen. So that's why I said, let's give dialogue a chance. Where diplomacy cannot work, radicalism can come within the confines of the law. That is my point.
So finally, and then we wrap this up.
I have a different opinion about him. I agree with her very well.
Yeah.
That there is no country that can move without peace and security. That is that I agree with. And people cannot take the law in their own hands. People cannot be doing mob. People cannot be doing riots, vandalism. It's not accepted anywhere.
Yeah.
But people have the right to go to Serekunda, request for a permit, assemble peacefully and say we don't want this type of groundnut in our market.
Nobody is saying no, and that is a settled issue.
That's okay. All right. So I guess this is between dialogue and protest, but I guess the viewers have the opportunity to make their own decision if they want dialogue or if they want to hit the streets every week and cause instability in a way. So bi ñu dugal ko ci olof bi tuuti because foog naa ne tam suñu yaay yuy seetaan sometimes daf dee am njëriñ pour ñu boole leen si suñu waxtaan yi ñoom tam ñu mën a understand lu ñoo discuss. So ma bëgg a dugga si GAP because xam nañ ne Musa Yali Bachili was the flag bearer pour parti bi ñu toog gis mu dugal keneen. Why to some people it's not democratic pour Musa Yali Bachili ñëw rek ne la Fatou léegi yow yaay suma flag bearer naka nga gisee loolu noonu.
Okay, issue boobu noonu it's like dafa am xam nga fu nekk am na ñaari faana.
waaw
waaye political parties man lu ma believe mooy xam nga ñooñu they are governments in waiting. ñoom mun nañoo jël nguur bi at any minute.
waaw
so because right now Gambia fu ñu nekk ñu ne démocratie lañ buggu ñoo toog rek am kenn nit muy naka la tuddaat di dogal di wax ne yow yaay nekk vice president yow yaay nekk lii yow yaay dañ move si that level. So as a political party yow yaa ngi bugg a nekk president foog naa da nga ko war a dooree si yow sooy jël kenn mu nekk flag bearer am nga party members dem leen congress ngeen election flag bearer ñun loolu lañ fi xam so man foog naa ne man loolu moo gën a démocratique soo buggee nit yi jël la seriously.
Okay.
Otherwise nen wax ne kii dafa nekk dictator su fa nekkee moom ku ko neex la moo taana and probably du nangu sax ñu change flag bearer so foog naa ne daal moom daal li mu waroon a def mooy ñu dem congress because GAP am nañ representatives suñ political dialogue buñ demoon we have representatives of that GAP in all the regions. So nañ conduct a congress and they elect which is democratic reflection.
So yow daal pour yow rafetut mu ñëw rek ne la Fatou yaay suma flag bearer waroon nañoo oote congress organise ko ñu vote teg fa nit
pour woon nit ne moom su ñekkee président he will be democratic.
Okay. Waaw so Baboucarr.
Yeah, man suma xelaat mooy political parties yéen yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci réew ñoom ñoo war a gën a dëgëral démocratie parce que ñoom ñoo ñu nga xam ne su fekkee am na kenn ku nga xam ne ni mu ngi si nguur gi wala ñenn si nguur gi ñu ngi fa ñooy nekk bugg a yaxanaal démocratie ñoom ñoo ko war a dëgëral so waaye soo gisee toog nag di gis di political party yooyu ñu ngay def naka sudut noonu den jaaxle war naa am jaaxle bu gaaw so nu moo gaaw mooy nit ñi nañ bàyyi seen xel si façon ngi njiit yi ñoo tànn njiit bu nga xam ne nii da nga koo tànn tey ëllëg nga réccu tànnee tam because of jëfiñam loolu tam dafa doy waar so mel na ni kon ñun nit yi si suñ bopp ñun ñuy tànn ñun ñoo war a seet ñan la ñoo tànn lu ko may ñu ñoo tànn suñ melin rek la ñoo nekk te loolu baaxut compter si réew parce que soo ko gisee tey nga gis par exemple lu nga xam ne dafa waroon a dem through democratic process mu dem lu nga xam ne hand picking rek la da ngay jël rek teg kooku comme lu Fatou wax rek dafa ñëwaat rek nekkaat lu nga xam ne dañ ko delloo si waat gannaaw nit yi dañoo ñëw ku la neex ko ngaay bum ku la neex moom ngaay bumi ku la neex moom ngaay fal ku la neex moom ngaay folli te loolu nekkul lu nga xam ne mooy gën si démocratie bu dëgër démocratie bu dëgër mooy dafa war a nekk engagement dafa war a nekk involvement dafa war a nekk participation mooy nit ñi ñëpp dañu war a bokk booloo ku nekk wax si xalaatam ku nekk wax si gis-gisam ku nekk wax si man-maninam mu jëmale réew mi kanam.
Okay, so we will go for a short break. Whenever we do the show, we make sure we engage people who are not part of, because we cannot have all young people part of this panel.
Yeah.
So we will take a look at their opinions, and when we come back, the show continues.
Hello, I am Mohamed Sise. I am 24. I'm also a youth activist and a student of the University of the Gambia, where I read development studies. And sending my contribution to the 3 years confabulation that has been going on in the country for quite so long, I am going to put my analysis in this way. The coalition agreed that they're going to rule this country or govern this country for 3 years under an independent candidate who is now President Adam Barrow. And when the reforms are done, and the president was going to do some necessary reforms, which I think they are ongoing, then after 3 years, that person will step down, open up for elections, and then he or she will not participate. I think that's the agreement. That was the agreement. We have seen that coalition government has won, and also having a president that is an independent candidate, not coming from any particular party. And also that same person who is President Adam Barrow now has institutionalized some very important reforms that are ongoing. The TRRC, the CRC, the National Human Rights Commission. These are the reforms that are going on the civil service or the civil service sector reform. You know, national security service sector reform. These are all reforms that are very important. And I think at this point in time, since they are ongoing, and then they are very important for us to allow them to end as we plan them to end. It's important for us not to interrupt it. And what do I mean by interrupting it? It is when we go out in December and stage a protest and force him to, or call him to step down. If we do that, then I think we're going to have a power vacuum, and also we're going to have our reform processes they will be stalled, so to speak. And in order to avoid that, I think I'm going to look at it from the constitutional perspective, which is our model law.
Hello, my name is Taslima Jallo. My opinion in terms of the current political dispensation and things that have been happening in terms of things that are related to politics, I think for me, I think it's healthy because it's important that people have divergent views. Politicians react to each other's issues or comments. I think for me, it's healthy. However, I think as Gambians, I think as of now, I want to believe that we have now woken up. We should not, we should not allow politicians to take, us on a ride. So we should be able to scrutinize their ideas, their agendas, and then at the end of the day, we should be able to make an informed choice. For the 3 years, 5 years Jotna, I don't have a stand as an activist. I only think both groups have, their rights to talk about what they feel is right or wrong about it. I don't have a personal stand. What I think is that we should just allow peace to prevail. We should not allow anything that is going to bring chaos. It's now left to the president. He have the constitutional backing to stay for 5 years. However, I think also in terms of the understanding he had with the coalition, if he chooses to honor it or not. But I think for me, both groups have, a point. The only thing that I would just want to implore on them is to make sure this whole thing does not, result to chaos. We should look for country first before any other interest. And at the end of the day, I think, Gambia comes first.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
viewers from the opinions of different young people about issues happening in the Gambia presently. ñu delluwaat rek si waxtaan bi ñu ngi doon wax affaire yi GAP am pour jël nit rek def ko flag bearer ma bëggoon a laajte tamit lan ngeen foog la Gambian citizens war a seet si président lan lañ war a seet si nguur balaa ñoo teg nguur place am lan lañ war a seet.
benn mooy ku nga xam ne am na xam-xam bu nga xam ne nii doy na nit ñi ne mu ne am na xam-xam pour nu ñoo amee nguur.
ok waaye soo ne xam-xam jàngala.
façon ngi jànga bu munti doon. waaw façon ngi jànga bu munti doon rek. da nga am xam-xam pour mën a amee réew.
soo ne xam-xam degree la. bachelor's degree la.
moom laa d'accord moom laa d'accord.
moom nga d'accord nga ne yow loo si wax.
moom laa d'accord.
man daal d'accord naa si because xam nga li xew. dañ nekk si dëkk boo xam ne àdduna boo xam ne léegi jànga dafa am solo te da nga war a mun a jànga pour nga mun a def development. no development will go without education. so foog ñu prioritize ko xam nga dëkk amee ful dëkk doo mun a handpick ku nekk rek mu ñëw dal nañu.
jub am na
to be honest the reality is when we are voting the president we did not look for competence. We were looking for the way to remove Yaya Jammeh. So we did not look at the long run, the impact it will have. Because Barrow wax nañu ne moom musta def politics, amul benn interest in politics, te moom xamut yëfi politics. So léegi loolu la ñoo seet. Right now suñ ko rate ñeneen ni am na ñu bari nañ wax ne dafa incompetent because nekkul di yóbbu dëkk bi nu mu ko war a yóbboo ak lum ñu wax. So these are some of the consequences yu ñu war a seet. buñ taana ku nekk.
waaye tamit waaye Fatou waaye am na leaders yoo xam ne they are very charismatic ñu ne leaders are born or made am na ñoo xam ne dañ koo wax de man daal man waxuma ko nag. man waxuma ko de man waxuma ko waaye de loolu lañ wax
ñan ñoo ko wax
wax nañ ko debate nañ ko
am na loo xam ne
leaders are born wala mais am na ñoo xam ne they are charismatic
war nga am wisdom pour mun a influence
exactly
loolu is very important.
am na ñoo xam ne
waaw soo amul wisdom bi doo mun a carré sa
nga jaar ba soo la sax you are not charismatic
waaw waaye jàng nag dafa important.
waaw waaye
duñ ko teg
dafa discrimination baan fa tamit nañ leen bàyyi suñu xel tam si mbiri
ban discrimination moo
may leen ma rek discrimination baan fa ne parce que jàngut du mun a nekk njiit loolu bi nuñ ko fet
ankañ bi nañ ko muy diine muy aada muy lu munti doon jànga daal
waaye
mooy
bachelor's degree bi tam la ñu ay bachelor's degree ay master's waaye taxut nga nekk
uyuma su ñoo wax ne balaa ngaa nekk director wala balaa ngaa nekk ministre
di nga
am masters wala nga am PhD lan mooy nekk problème bi pour ñu wax ne balaa ngaa nekk président a whole head of state foog naa boobu PhD sa jar na ko
man yéen ay wax man yéen a fi ñëw man kañ man pare na
non loolu mooy su fekkee ne comme la lu Fatou wax loolu mooy dëgg su fekkee ne yaa ngay tànn njiit bi njiit bi dafa war a nekk ku nga xam ne ni xam-xamam at least màcc na si diggante xew-xew yuy am si réew bi benn mooy kii war naa xam réew mi yëpp su xam réew mi nekkul ne da ngay dem si dëkk bu nekk waaye mooy xam lan la nit ñu nekk si réew mi soxla so xam nga loolu mooy benn ñaareel bi mooy kii dafa war a nekk ku nga xam ne ku jub la ku nga xam ne kii ku jub la ku mandu la ba pare yi tamit ku nga xam ne du def lenn lu nga xam ne dañoo am xel ñaar ci gisi-gisa mooy somebody with ethical leadership so loolu is very very important si ku ñoo tànn keneen ku ñoo tànn itam dafa nekk ku nga xam ne nii du ñee nit ñi parce que suñu la tànnee nga ñee nit ñi mooy jeexal nga seen am bi so yow sa bopp waruloo ñee kenn si ku nga xam ne nii moom nga jiite amoon na fi nga gis ku nga xam ne nii suñ njiit mu fi nekkoon tuumaal nañ ko ay tuuma dal na si ko xam ne su gisaan taax bu rafet sax mu ne kan moom lii wala ñu nangu ko ne yow foo jëlee xaalis bi pour loolu xam nga kooku façon njiit yooyu noonu tam bëgguñ ko soo kon lii yëpp dafa war a nekk yu nga xam ne dañ koo seet suñoo tànn
waaye pour seet loolu lu métti la ma bëgg a xam nag naka lañ koo seetee because dafa mel ni ku ñëw jógee si biti rek ñëw xëy na duñ mën a xam soo naka la ñoo mën a seetee
loolu démba rek si suñ constitutionnalisme ak democratic living boobu doon si CSO bi ñu ngi ko doon waxtaanee
naka la ñoo xam
loolu nuñ ko def mooy constitution bi wala IEC dañ war a am political debates president vetting of candidates dafa war a am ba pare force debates nañ ko def ñeneen réew mi yaa ngi ko def if you are presidential candidate keneen bugga na réew mi nañ ñëw ñu taxaw nit yi déglu lañ ñu debate si ñu tànnee fa dinañ xam ku déggu ak ku déggu ak kuy wax loo xam ne du wax waxet
dëgg la
waaye naka la ñoo xamee kuy waxee
moo loolu
ak vetin bi waaw
si loolu nga engage pour America ñu ngay am si election 2020 waaye doon nañ di waxtaan si seen affaire
kon dafa mel ni dañoo balaa ñoo dem si debate bi sax dañoo vet njëkk
ñu vet leen
waaw dañoo vet
IEC
ñan ñoo nekk si vetting boobu nag
loolu sa IEC dañ ko dee def
waaw
parce que soo seetloo soo demee pour déposit ji pour nekk président dañ laa laajte ndax yaa ngi am any tax return
waaw yooyu
ba pare dañ laa laajte ne ndax musuloo am benn any crime bu nga commit dañ laa laajte ne tam ndax yaa ngi doon yaa ngi def
waaw yombal foofu yooyu ñëpp ko dee pass
loolu dafa yomba waaye tamit lu faatu di wax tam mooy beneen state bi mooy yéen ñëpp da ngeen am pour ñëw taxaw wax nit ñi lan nga plan lan nga fexe lan nga bugg a defal sa réew
ak ñu
jëlee
noo koo defee tamit
waaye gis nañ fi ñu fi taxaw wax ne nii lañ koo defee wuñ ko noonu
waaw su ko defee loolu te ñu am constitution bu nga xam ne nii dafa mun a indil mandarga ba nga xam ne yow soo ko defotee su amee juróomi at par exemple comme ñu votal la juróomi at nga taxaw ba nekk fa juróomi at yi ñu gis ne lu ñu digoon si ñeenti at ak genn wala si gannaaw yëpp defuloo ko ñu génne la fa teg keneen
waaye xam nga ñun suñu national assembly members yi ñoo ñu sonal because xam nga loolu tamit am na solo su fekkee ne ñun elect nañ leen ngeen ñëw nekkal ñu si léegi député yi ñu am président boo xam ne waxoon na fi ne soo leen ma defalee ma def lii mu amee dëkk bi gisuñ dara mu dem si kanam understand nga nañ leen engage the executive ñu make sure ne ñu def lu ñu war a def.
waaye mbaa
ñu dialogue with the executive. ñu dialogue with the executive.
ku munul luñ la voté ñu pass.
waaye no confidence ñu dialogue with the executive.
ma ne vote of no confidence mu.
déedéet bul protest léegi nañ dialogue with the executive.
waaw man de dialogue laa xam.
waaw waaye tamit ba léegi na leen seet tamit ndax suñ parliament bi. because sometimes président bu taxaw xëj na 50% of parliament bi xëj na. moom supporters am lañ. wala 80% xam nga. soo ba léegi daf dee métti. ñu waxante dëgg rek. ñooñu tamit seen biir what they believe in. ñu put politics aside ndax ñooñu tamit foog ngeen na dañ dee mën a put politics aside ñu seet national interest.
Jeena ba dafa am leen lu ma bëgg quickly explain rek lu tax loolu yëpp dee am.
waaw
mooy there is no level playing ground. in this political activities yu ñoo def. soo demee si yeneen réew yi. balaa président bi di dem pour door campagne dafay génn State House. balaa président bi di dem campagne di use benn moto nguur. pour dem campagne. So these are the things that we need to put in our new constitution. These are the things that we need to ensure that it is working well. So that ku nekkati njiit nekk borom réew mi ngay dem u politique doo amee advantage against any other person. Equal opportunity mu nekk fa in a level playing ground. bu nga xam ne ni nit ñi si seen boppa ñoom ñooy tànnal. seen boppa su nekkut ne dañ leen forcer wala dañ leen eb si ay moto di leen yóbbu di leen wërloo si yeneen dëkk yi
at your own discretion
la moo nekk joxuñ la dara yow yaay dem rek bugg a topp
parti interest bi leen wara suñ koo xool
waaw
den koo xool waaye national interest moo war a jiitu because man dama feel ne national assembly su fekkee ne gis nañ ne national interest moo leen gënal seen parti affiliation bi dafa am fu mu dee am it's simple su fekkee ne président bi ñëw na declaration of assets dañ dee wax ne ministres yi ak di président ñëpp a war a declare seen assets pour ñu xam nit ki balaa mu doon am position lu mu am ba after dinañ mun a determine corruption level bi ak mismanagement ak yooyu waaye duñ ko dee dëggal because dañ fa dee toog ñii defuñ ko ministre yi kan moo fi declare asset am munoon nañoo ñoom they can compel these ministers to enforce these provisions ñun am nañ loi yu rafet amuñ enforcement mechanisms duñ dee enforce new constitution bi nañ fa def bem nice waaye enforcement bi kaay xool dañoo delluwaat si the same thing let's have honest people that are selfless as our representatives
yal nañu
we need selfless people
waaw yal nañu si yàlla musal comme ni nga ko waxee rek enforcement is a problem just recently maa ngi fi amoon some FGM activists ñu ngi doon wax ne law bi mu ngi fa waaye mu ngi problème bi what is the problem comme ni nga ko waxee national interest bi moo nekkut at heart
that is the problem
mooy
people are not patriotic
loolu lañ war a seetaa suñ ko seetee rek foog naa réew bi dina dem kanam
non loolu la because soo ko gisee tey for exemple da ngaa gis yu nga xam ne ni dañoo ñëw ñu ne Fatou yow du yaa fi doon wax nii si time yi Yaya Jammeh bu mu fi nekkee lu tax léegi ba tey tamit yaa ngi against loolu moo lay won consistency
nit ki
nekkut ne comme su fekkoon ne la fi nekkoon moom rek la toppa di ko neexal di ko neex muy mu ñëwaat mu génnaat dem si luy naxari den di nga am ñaari xel si nit kooku noonu waaye si luñ taxawoon ba tey muy ak yella fi doomi aadama yi muy lu nga xam ne daf leen a jëriñ si loolu la ñoo nekk ba tey muy FGM bi and every other thing problème buy nekk si xew léegi yëpp enforcement bu faatu wax rek moo am ñu bare koo def waaye ñu ko def ndax ñu ngee ñëw pour ne ok ku ko def daan yuñ la war a def
respect guñ sax loos yuñ dugal teg ko because yaa ngee gis ne man kooku activiste bu ma fi indi woon mu maa wax ne waa ñooñu ñu ne Yaya Jammeh génn na fi so Yaya Jammeh moo fi indi woon loo bi moo ko am na luwaa yu bari Yaya Jammeh
am nga loolu is dishonest yow bu ngeen ko doon vote Yaya Jammeh forcé wut leen ngeen pass loo boo xam ne fii ngeen ne it's not for national interest
Yaya Jammeh am na loo yu baax yu mu fa teg tam
waaw loolu tam dëgg la duñ disregard yëpp
loo boobu loolu Gambien loo la ñun ñoo ko moom Yaya Jammeh yóbbu waale wut loo boobu
te ñu la suñ doomi di sofa
waaw Equatorial Guinée nekku ne dafa enu laws yooyu yóbbu waale ko it's our own laws and they are good te dañ koo maintain so foog naa ne tamit li nga wax am na solo trop man nag bëggoon naa waxtaan bi mu continuer
waaye time bi
exactly waaye time by suñ problème ba pare man dama dee kontaan su ma gisee like young people who are youth ñu taxaw di xeex pour syndicat man loolu daf ma dee kontaan loo trop te yéen you are a perfect example soo ngeen tàggatoo rek ñu emale ko fii
Jenaba lii kay su fi emoon sax neex na ba pare luñ fi waxtaanee daal am na solo te yow tam jërëjëf si sa liggéey bu rafet bi li nga def moom am na solo because xam nga lii lañ need ñun am nañ di potentials to be talking to people but amuñ platform so am nañ platform bi like maa ngi wax ñëpp ñu utilize façon programmes yi ñu jàngee
ñu am support tamit because I know we are yet to have sponsors.
I know, right?
nit yi tamit ñuy seetaan. lii it's youth development. companies yi seen social corporate responsibility invest leen si young people rek sax ñu am jaama rek.
I call it the safe space for young people.
jërëjëf Jenaba like comme nu ko Fatou waxee rek we are very happy to be back here. ñun ñoo doon di second set pour ñëw bu yu dialogue bi starté. ñu ñëwaat fi tey tamit ñu ngi la gërëm di la sant di ñaax youth si yëpp ne ñun jàmm rek moo ñu yëkkati mbiri jàmm rek la réew mi bugga so ñun ñëpp ku nekk lu moo def rek na si jiital jàmm jiital interest si réew mi bu mu si jiital interest si boppam wala keneen ku nga xam ne mu ngi si biti wala fu munti doon di ko influence ba moo ñoo ñàkkaloo jàmm jooju noonu so kon mel na ni ñun ndaw yi amut ñoom ak ñun loolu nekkut fa ñun ñëpp benn lañ ñun ñëpp Gambians lañ te luy jëmale réew mi rek kanam loolu lañ bugga
waaw xam naa ne nag di ngeen fi ñëwaat
waaw
next year ak si biir waaye tamit amal naa leen special appointment mooy 2021 suñ ko fekkee ak jàmm parce que yéen élection saa yu moo jot yéen yéen a nekk nit yoo xam ne yéen a day ñëw am di wax ne génna leen ñu vote suñu right la génna leen ñu vote xaw ma nag si diggante bi de xëj na beneen topic ñëw bi nga xam ne foog ngeen ñëw waaye 2021 moom maa leen bugg waaw maa leen bugg insha allah yal nañ ko fekkee ak jàmm we will go for a short break. When we return the show continues. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Viewers, that is all we have for you in this edition of the Youth Dialogue. But before I leave, just to remind you that Alima's creation made this dress. It is so beautiful. I'm so comfortable in it. And I know that those young people watching out there will be as well comfortable. She's right there in Bakau. Her numbers are right in front of the screen. Take it, call her. She will provide an outfit as nice as this or even better. Don't forget to connect with us on our different social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Give us your comments and recommendations, and we will surely pen them down, if not even implement them. Till I come your way next week with other young people doing extremely well across the country, stay tuned.